example, one of the craziest things I uncovered is that there was a CIA unit embedded at Fort Detrick in Maryland. And they would just wander the halls and say, "Hey, have any good ideas for our special operations?" And one of them was the CIA company dropped boxes of infected ticks on Cuban sugarcane workers because that was just one of many of the projects in Operation Mongoose where the objective under the Kennedy.
We'll get boxes of ticks. They ever do it?
He told me this. I interviewed him, and that's where he told me about he was under Colonel Lansdale. It's one drunk guy's opinion. And then I interviewed him about 4 times. And I thought, well, there's something real about this story. But then 3 years later, the RFK assassination files were published. And then I learned more about this. It was a pilot study in 1961. He did not know what was in the ticks.
Did they figure out, well, I guess you wouldn't know then. So I was curious what their assessment was of why it did not work. Do you have any idea why it didn't work?
He had a newborn. He had the same clothes on. It crawled off. He held the baby. The
God.
baby was just a newborn. He ended up in the ICU. He had meningitis. So it was just like incredible head pressure. And all the doctors had given up. But there was one Cuban resident who said, "Oh, I know how to treat this." So
how remarkable, right? That a Cuban ends up saving his life after he drops infected ticks on the Cuban population. Really?
So he called his handler at the company and said, "This is what happened." And he says, "You need to burn all those clothes." And then I was seeking proof. Did this really happen? He says, "Well, my son, you can see, has the scar from intubation when he was on life support." So
wow.
So I mean, in the weapons world, you don't want a weapon where there's blowback on your own people. And there were no repercussions for the CIA's experiment because, as you can see in the RFK assassination files, it was need to know. So very little was written down. And Cuba is 50 miles as the crow flies from Florida. So if you drop something on Cuba, it could cross over to the United States. So again, it's irresponsible experiments with living things that could create a pandemic.